Well, hello, everyone. I am so glad you're here with us today. Pastor Brian here with you again. So lucky you, you get more of me. But Pastor Ben still away, and Philip is out as well. But it is Jason and I in the studios. Jason's right back there. He's been working hard, chasing everything down, and all kinds of things going on. And we've had a busy week here. Lots of stuff going on besides, I guess, funerals, weddings. Those things all take place and have taken place within this last week. But it's also been a week where, for me, I've been really getting ready, gearing up for the summer, and a lot of energy this week poured into all the pre-work that has to get done before Vacation Bible School can take place. And so really getting in that spirit and diving in and thinking about what comes next. And I mean, this is one of those things that I kind of put off until I said, oh, I'll get to that after Easter. And now that it's after Easter, it's like, whoa, I'm really diving in. And I don't know, it's that reminder, I think, for all of us. Sometimes we can spend our lives chasing after something and miss out on the fact that, hey, something good is happening right now. Whether, like for me, whether it was always just looking forward to what's Easter and then now dive in beyond that and hey, everything that comes next, Vacation Bible School, all the summer mission trips, all the things I gotta prepare for. I hope you're taking some time to, even if you're not feeling busy right now, but just to look for those blessings, to look for them to show up, to realize we have an inclusive God who loves us and that radical grace that provides for us. So with that being said, I think we better go check in on Pastor Ben and see what he may be up to. I would assume he's in Wisconsin, but I have no guarantees. Pastor Ben, can you hear us? Maybe? Here he goes.
Well, hello, everybody. It's Thursday afternoon, and I am in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, and I have been working on my sermon today. So I'm already ready to come home, and I've checked in. I've paid for my checked luggage, and tomorrow morning I head to Minneapolis and fly home. And just wanted to give you a view of where I'm at. This is at my brother's house, and so overlooking Rice Lake itself. So the town is named after the lake. And as I promised, if I turn over here, there's somebody you might recognize. That's my dad. And so he waves and says hi. But where we're at is we're just kind of wrapping things up. Remember, it started on last Wednesday when I flew to Chicago for ELCA council meetings. And then after we got through all of that stuff, which I will talk about next Tuesday in our broadcast when I'm back in the studio, and tell you about some of those things, and then up to Wisconsin to do a few things and visit my dad, and I'm heading home. So guess what? I'll be preaching this weekend because I'm 3/4 of the way done with my sermon and prepping that, and I will see you very soon. So, love you. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks for checking in. His brother's house there, beautiful right there in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. I'm trying to think if I've been through that area, and I don't know that I have. Certainly heard of a number of people, and I know of that area certainly, but it certainly looks beautiful. Looks like spring is going to arrive there at some point. So good checking in, and good to see his dad there too. So he's looking great as well. So with that, we're going to move toward our song for today, and we're actually going to go back a little bit. This is a song that we didn't have a chance to visit after they sang it. This is a praise team song, and it's from We the Kingdom, I believe. And so we're going to go to that. And this is a song that when I first heard it, Robbie brought it to my attention and shared it, and I really liked it. I don't think I had heard it before Robbie played it, and so it's it centered me, and I think it fits with this idea of, well, really our whole entire mission statement and this idea of radical grace, inclusive God. And so if we can turn to that song now, let's hear it.
Wanted something to call my home. I was tired of being alone. I went looking for beautiful, and I saw you, so beautiful, yeah. I settled down in a house of sand. Storm came and I could not stand. Felt like Jesus took my hand. It was beautiful. I'm yours and you're mine. Something like a miracle, something supernatural.
You would choose to love someone like me. Oh, I am yours, and you are mine. I'm yours and you're
I love that. I love hearing that message that we are, we belong to Christ. Christ calls us mine, but then also that same imagery of that we can call Christ our own too. That as imperfect as we are, Christ and chooses us, and we get to choose Christ. And we can always, whatever we go through, we can say, Christ belongs to me, and I can hold on to that. There is love in this, and be able to embrace that. And I hope you're all able to take some time to embrace what God is doing as well. So just looking at a handful of those lyrics, that to talk about, I mean, as with so many of the, I think the greatest songs, but also the greatest Bible stories, they lift up all four of those elements of our mission statement: the real people, the inclusive God. We're broken people. We all have an inclusive God. We have radical grace, inspired growth. I think some of the best songs and the best lyrics represent all of that, that they bring all four of those things to life. And the best Bible stories do that too. And so wanted to share some of that. I mean, certainly it starts off with the idea of broken people, that we're looking for something beautiful. And then it says, the fact that we are real people, settled down in a house of sand, storm came and took it, and I could not stand. But then it felt like Jesus took my hand. And of course, that goes back to Matthew chapter 7, right in the midst of Jesus teaching the Sermon on the Mount, when he talks about the wise man building his house upon the rock, and the rain came down, and the streams rose, the winds blew, beat against the house, and yet the house did not fall because it had a foundation of rock. But everyone who did not hear those words, like the foolish one who built their house on the sand, and the rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against the house, and the house fell with a great crash. And Jesus teaching there that that foolish person does this, but the song lifts up that we all take time. We all do that. We all invest and put so much time, and maybe we pour so much money into, they're just silly things. And what would it mean to, okay, am I putting my time, my energy, my love that I have, am I putting that on solid rock? And even when I don't, even when I misplace it, I put it on the wrong things, and it washes away, to know that Jesus comes to take our hand. As Jesus comes to embrace us, Jesus comes to reach into those stormy seas and pick us out. And I love that. I love feeling that. I love knowing that and trusting in that. And of course, that line of, I'm yours and you're mine till the end of time, sweeter than water, sweeter than wine. It goes back to the Bible story of Jesus turning the water into wine, and that was at a wedding at Cana, which is not too far from Nazareth, not too far from Galilee, but it is kind of out there a little ways, kind of in the outskirts, a little bit, one would imagine pretty dry desert town. But Jesus and the disciples had been invited to this wedding, along with Jesus' mother, and the people run out of wine, and it's this story of this miracle of abundance. And when Jesus shows up, Jesus goes and at first he doesn't do anything, but it's his mother who says, they've run out of wine. And at first this is not the time or hour. Why are you telling me this? This is not where to invest your all the energy. But his mother insists, and Jesus chooses to work this miracle, and it's this miracle of abundance. It's this miracle that God chooses us and chooses to live and offer abundance with all of us. And so he says, fill these 20 to 30 gallon jars with water, and then they become the greatest wine, the best wine. And it's just this great gift of abundance. But once again, Jesus in the Bible story, he's pointing to something more. He's saying that in each of these jars, we're having the greatest wine to offer, which is certainly what they had at that time. That was the greatest, the thing that they could offer. But Jesus was, even at that time, very early on, his first miracle, it says, Jesus was pointing to something greater. So there's something greater to hold on to. And I think for all of us to be able to trust in that, and for all of us to look at, there is something greater, and it is the fact that is, as the song says, sweeter than water, sweeter than wine, to know that you are mine. And that yours and your mine. That's the greatest thing, that God is including us, that we'll have radical grace for us, that we can grow in this and be able to hold on to that. There's another line in the song that says, it's something of a miracle, something supernatural that you would choose to love somebody like me. And to me, that's one of the more heartbreaking things that I know I see, is when somebody doesn't realize that about themselves, doesn't believe that they're lovable. And I see that in all kinds of people, young, old, people who just dismiss the very fact that they could be loved. And I really want that for all of us, because I think there are all times when we have our doubts, when we look at ourselves and we have our own doubts about, could God possibly love us? Could God possibly show up providing grace, hope, love, and be there for us? Would God choose to love somebody like me? And the story that Jesus offers, one of the stories that stands out for me anyway, is immediately following the Sermon on the Mount. So Jesus has just preached it begins in Matthew 5, and then chapter 6 and chapter 7, 3 chapters of Jesus teaching. And he's teaching about the blessings to the poor, and kind of turning the world's perspectives upside down, and seeing the world differently, what it means to pour love and to see God's love, to see it planted in fertile soil, and to lift that up. And right after that sermon of talking about what it means to flip things upside down, immediately following that, it says there is an individual who comes up to Jesus with this terrible skin disease, called leprosy in the Bible, but it would have been just a pretty terrible skin condition, and somebody so isolated, somebody so hurt, and in so much pain. And more than that, this person was taught that they were unlovable, that nobody cared about them, and that they weren't wanted around. And you can just imagine this person hearing the message that Jesus taught. And then when Jesus comes down, this person has the courage to call out, but you can almost hear in their call out to Jesus, has the courage to call out, but you can almost see doesn't quite believe in themselves. It says a man who had a skin disease got down on his knees in front of Jesus, and he said, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." If you're willing, like it's if I'm worth your time, if you think this is okay, if you're willing, Jesus says, I am willing, or I do choose you. And lays his hands on this person who probably hadn't felt the human touch of another being unclean in quite some time. And Jesus brings healing. Jesus chooses. And that God would choose somebody like me, like you, beautiful words, radical grace, right there. And then another line that struck me is just the freedom that it opens us up to. Wild and free in an open field, I can't believe how good this feels. Hallelujah, God is real and I am alive. Living in that freedom, and to be able to live in this kind of freedom. And there was a poem that I heard, and I believe we have it too. We're going to try and share it anyway. And it's a song. It's a poem called "Wild Geese" by Mary Oliver. And Mary Oliver was somebody who would describe her childhood as pretty rough. She had a difficult childhood, and she found sanctuary. She couldn't find it around the people she was with. She just had a lot of people who inflicted a lot of difficulty, and you really see in her poetry, she found sanctuary. She found hope by turning to the natural world. And so this is her poem, "Wild Geese." We'll see if this one works for you.
You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
There we go. But I really love her poems. She often has really short poems, and I really love just that sense of you're called into something and included in something, and no matter how alone we may feel, we are chosen, and we can experience that, experience God's presence, even if it can be hard to see God directly. To be able to open our eyes and see in the world around us that there is something wonderful, and we can be wild and free, open in that, and knowing that we can live in God's love. And so with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there for today. But I'm so thankful that you took a little bit of time to join us today. It is always nice to have you along with us, and we know you're tuning in from all different places, and it's just a blessing to have you along for the ride. So I believe Robbie is back tomorrow for Friday at 3 o'clock on Friday, and then beyond that, service on Saturday evening at 5, and then 8, 9:30, and 11 on Sunday. And then I know I'll be doing First Communion classes that afternoon, so I'm getting excited about that too. So that's another fun thing coming up. But in general, I hope you're having a wonderful and a blessed day, and hope we can see you sometime soon. But take care, everybody. God bless you. Bye-bye.